guys, stay tuned for this delicious recipe, beef steak and mushrooms. Very easy to make, guys. Stay tuned for the full recipe. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button and enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back to another recipe of mine. So today I will be sharing with you how I'm going to prepare and marinate these steaks. So I do have my knife sharpening. Obviously we have to have these knives really sharp to cut our meat very smooth. And as you can see, I do have my steak right here. So basically they are kind of thick. Okay, I'm just gonna cut them up in not too small pieces. I want them in little big pieces. This meat is the beef steak flat meat, and it's really tender if you marinate really good. And I love to leave it in the fridge for about an hour or two to get those ingredients and seasonings that you're going to add. It stays on there really good, and it gives it to you really juicy and tender. But if you're in a rush and you are doing this right away, just leave it in there for 30 minutes or 20 to 30 minutes. It'll be fine. So I'm gonna cut these up kind of like these size. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut them up in not too big and not too small. If you don't like big pieces, then you could just cut them up in smaller pieces, kind of like this. Okay, so for this recipe I am going to add some mushrooms. If you are not a fan of mushrooms, you can even just add some sweet bell peppers to them, kind of like a fajita recipe. And for that I do have a recipe coming soon, so stay tuned for that, how I did the steak fajita recipe. I just have a few that I need to edit and upload for you guys. I've just been busy with so much going on, but they will be up, so make sure you have your bell notification on so you can be notified when I upload these recipes. And today actually I uploaded a refreshing drink for you guys, so you guys can check that out. So now I'm going to add this into a bowl. Like I said, we're going to marinate this meat. Okay, and this will give you about actually about 3 servings. So that'll be perfect. 3 servings or 4. Okay, and I'm just gonna remove this, wash it off. So like I mentioned, I'm just gonna cut them a little smaller. So like this one is perfect. I'm just gonna leave this in there like that. So with this recipe, like I said, you do not have to add mushrooms. If you're not a fan of mushrooms, you can add some sweet bell peppers in there to make it like a fajita steak, a steak fajita. But for me, like I like mushrooms, I am going to saute these really good in a really good marinade sauce. So if you're not a fan of mushrooms, after this recipe, you might be able to enjoy mushrooms. So I'm gonna rinse them off really good first before I start prepping them. Okay guys, I rinsed them off really good. Now we're just gonna set those aside. Now I'm going to start marinating our meat. And for the seasonings I'll be using, I like to use the Kinder's, the steak blend. Whatever seasoning you guys enjoy using for your steak meat, go ahead and use it. So I'm just gonna drizzle enough of this in there, and I will be using lemon pepper seasoning, and of course the crushed red pepper. And this is going to give it kind of like a spicy taste. If you are a fan of these, put as much as you want. If not, just a few drizzles in there. And of course, some garlic powder. And I will be adding some pure sesame oil. If you have soy sauce, go ahead and use it as well. Just going to drop few drizzles in there. Now we're just going to let's not forget our salt and pepper. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt, just a little bit, because soy sauce has salt and our seasonings, and a little bit of pepper. Now we're just going to mix this all together, and like I said, you can leave this marinated for an hour, or if you're in a rush, just do about 20-25 minutes. It'll be fine. Just want these seasonings to get your meat really good. So now I'm just gonna cover this up and put it in my fridge. I'm gonna leave it in there for about an hour, and then we'll be back, and I'm gonna start prepping our mushrooms. I want to have those marinated as well. Okay guys, first I am going to cut up a little bit of onion, and I'm just gonna do a little bit. I'm not doing the whole onion, just to give it a flavor and saute our meat and mushrooms. So cut it up, not too of a small piece, kind of like this is perfect. Take this part out. So this is fine. I'm gonna have it like this. And of course, I am going to use the minced garlic. If you have garlic cloves, that's perfect as well. Just cut it up in small pieces, about as much as you want. 2 big garlic cloves is fine. So now we have our mushrooms here ready. Here's my meat. I covered up with some Ziploc bags. Just cut it up and covered it. It's really nice and marinated. Now we're gonna have our pan ready, and I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to start, kind of like a stir fry. So there's my pan. I'm gonna add some oil on here, just enough to get those flavors in with your meat. Get it a little bit high heat so our oil can get hot. Okay guys, now I'm gonna add my meat. Okay guys, so once it starts to get that color, I'm going to add my onion and garlic to get these flavors. Just the marinade that I did for this beef steak smells really good, guys. Okay guys, I'm just going to leave them in here for about 5 minutes. So now I'm just going to add the onion in there. And our minced garlic, I'm going to add a full tablespoon of garlic. And I'm going to drizzle some lime in there as well to get it really juicy and tender. Make sure you get everything in there. Now we're just going to mix everything together. Once it starts to get a little tender of the meat, I'm going to start adding my mushrooms in there as well. But the meat is still a little hard. Okay, so that's going to be our next process. Just let this cook thoroughly in a kind of like in a medium-high heat, not too high, because you do want to fully cook your meat in there really good. So I'm just going to let this cook in there, and we'll be back to check on this, how it's going. Okay guys, before I forget, I'm going to add some rosemary leaves in there. Just a few drizzles. All these flavors are going to taste really good, guys. And a little bit of parsley flakes. Just a little bit, because I'm going to add some to my mushrooms as well. Okay. Okay guys, while I have my meat cooking, I'm going to add some black pepper to my mushrooms. About 2 pinches of black pepper. And salt. Just a little bit of salt, because we are going to add this to our steak meat. And I'm going to add a little bit of more garlic into that as well. Probably just do half of a garlic. And a little bit of parsley. and a little bit of paprika. And we're just gonna mix all of this together. I'm gonna add a little bit of lime juice in there as well. So the rest of this lime juice. And a little bit of the sesame oil. And we're just gonna mix everything, incorporate everything together, guys. So this will give it a really good flavor to your mushrooms. Okay guys, since I have that cooking in there, I'm gonna add my mushrooms into this pan, and I'm gonna add it kind of like in the center because I do want everything in there. Just gonna cook these just like that, and once they start to kind of like get a little tender, I'm gonna mix everything together. We're gonna leave it in there for a few minutes, maybe about 3 minutes. Okay guys, so I left it in here cooking up really good. It's practically fully cooked with our mushrooms and beef steak. So you can smell the deliciousness of this recipe, guys. Very, very simple and easy to do. Just a tip, if you want to marinate your beef steak for an hour or two, just make sure you guys prep this a day before. Even you could do a day before, or just a few hours before you're gonna start cooking your recipe. So if you're new to my channel and you are subscribed, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. To the new subscribers, if you are new, please let me know down below so I can give you a big shout out. And if you know anybody that likes to enjoy Mexican recipes and more, which means I cook varieties of different recipes, let your family, friends, your neighbors know. And share my recipes as well. I do not mind if you guys share my recipes in your social media platforms or anywhere else. Comment down below and give this video a big thumbs up, guys, and I will be seeing you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to put your bell notification so you won't miss a recipe of mine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.